Millions of years ago, the Megalodon shark was one of the most terrifying creatures to ever roam the seas. Long before its reign, the mosasaurs dominated the oceans, terrorizing every creature they encountered. Both of these ancient predators ruled as apex hunters during their respective eras, but imagining a scenario where they lived at the same time and faced off creates a fascinating battle of titans. To understand how such a clash might unfold, it's essential to examine the attributes and abilities each brought to the fight. The Megalodon was an enormous shark, weighing around 60 to 66 tons and measuring up to 25 meters, 82 feet, in length. It was capable of swimming at speeds up to 17 meters per second, 55 feet per second, and wielded an incredibly powerful bite, exerting a force of 278,000 kilopascals, 40,000 psi. On the other hand, the mosasaur was smaller, about 5 meters, 16 feet, shorter, and weighed roughly a quarter of the Megalodon's mass. Its bite force was also significantly weaker, roughly half that of the mighty sharks. Despite these apparent disadvantages in size and raw power, the mosasaur had the advantage of superior maneuverability and defensive traits, which made it a skilled fighter in its own right. As the initial aggressor, the Megalodon would rely on its hunting strategy of sneaking up from beneath its prey and launching a swift, surprise attack. The mosasaur, being a reptile, hunted near the surface and needed to surface for air roughly every hour, making it somewhat predictable in its patterns. When the Megalodon spots the mosasaur near the top of the water, it moves in for the kill, opening its massive jaws to strike. However, the mosasaur's agility allows it to narrowly evade this initial assault. Unlike the Megalodon, which had never faced significant threats during its dominance, the mosasaur was familiar with fighting other members of its species and had honed defensive skills. This experience provides the mosasaur with a crucial advantage, allowing it to slip away and find cover, biding its time to counterattack. Using its binocular vision, forward-facing eyes similar to birds, which enable depth perception, the mosasaur carefully monitors the Megalodon's approach. When the shark gets close enough, the mosasaur launches a surprise strike, targeting one of the Megalodon's fins. Although the shark is a massive and intimidating beast, its body is primarily composed of soft tissue and cartilage, with the only hard parts being its teeth. This anatomical makeup means that the mosasaur's powerful bite can inflict serious damage on the shark's fins. The shark might be expected to retreat or succumb to such an injury, but its sheer size and resilience allow it to withstand the attack and keep fighting. Despite the injury, the Megalodon quickly regains focus and pursues the mosasaur, whose speed and maneuverability give it a temporary edge. Yet, the shark's powerful swimming ability allows it to close the distance and deliver a crushing bite to the mosasaur. This final, devastating attack leaves the mosasaur incapacitated and cements the Megalodon's status as the undisputed champion of the seas. However, this victory comes at a cost. The Megalodon's battle with the mosasaur was unlike any challenge it had faced before, and the wound inflicted on its fin is a serious injury that could have lasting consequences. Blood pours into the water from the torn tissue and cartilage, creating a visible trail that smaller predators might follow, posing an additional threat. Usually, the Megalodon's massive size and dominance would shield it from danger, but the injury renders it vulnerable. Depending on the severity of the bite, the shark could risk significant blood loss, which would weaken its movements and make hunting more difficult. If critical arteries were severed, the Megalodon's fate could be sealed. Furthermore, the open wound is susceptible to parasites and infections, increasing the risk of complications. In the brutal, survival of the fittest environment of the ocean, even the mightiest predator can fall if weakened enough. Despite these dangers, the Megalodon is far from an ordinary shark. Its massive size and built-in resilience give it a fighting chance to recover, provided the bleeding stops and it can find sustenance. Megalodons were capable of traveling great distances in search of food, and securing a large prey item like a whale could restore its strength. Nevertheless, the injury might force the Megalodon to adapt its hunting strategies. With compromised fin functionality, its speed and maneuverability could suffer, limiting its ability to perform rapid surprise attacks from below. Instead, it might rely more heavily on ambush tactics and target slower or injured prey to conserve energy. If the Megalodon recovers, it will remain the ocean's apex predator, unmatched in size, power, and bite force. Over time, the fin wound will heal, leaving a scar that tells the story of its legendary battle with the mosasaur. The ocean is a relentless and unforgiving domain, but the Megalodon has proven time and again that it is the ultimate survivor. Even wounded, it commands respect and fear as the ruler of the seas, reminding all other creatures of its dominance. Now, with the Megalodon's victory firmly established, It's intriguing to speculate how this giant predator would fare against other formidable foes, including humans. The sheer power and adaptability of the megalodon mark it as one of the most extraordinary creatures ever to inhabit Earth's oceans, and its legendary status continues to captivate our imaginations. The battle between the megalodon and the mosasaur highlights the brutal and unforgiving nature of prehistoric oceans, where only the strongest and most adaptable creatures survived. The mosasaur, despite its size disadvantage, demonstrated that intelligence and agility can sometimes counter sheer power. Its ability to evade the megalodon's initial assault and then inflict a serious injury on the massive shark's fin showed a remarkable level of combat skill and strategic thinking. This adaptability may have been critical for survival in an environment teeming with fierce predators. On the other hand,